In this episode, we'll be reviewing how to draft Pack 2. Have you ever noticed Pack 2 is the most difficult pack to draft? Pack 3 is easiest. You're picking just to fill out the remainder of your deck. Pack 1 is medium difficulty. You're mostly picking based on what the player to your right passes. But Pack 2, you're picking based on what the player to your left passes you, and what the player to your right had passed you in Pack 1. In this episode, we'll review the principles of drafting Pack 2, and then, upon commenter request, we'll review a draft by Jim Davis of his Bronze to Mythic channel series. I want to mention that I think Jim is a better player than me, and if you've noticed the trend, I tend to only review drafts of good players. Reviewing drafts of bad players wouldn't really be all that interesting. This is a unique review in that the deck that Jim and I draft are both very similar, but using the principles of how to draft Pack 2, we pivoted into our archetype a bit quicker and came out with a stronger deck for doing so. And we start with how to draft Pack 2 Principle 1. Know going into Pack 2 what 2 colors you aren't drafting. Refuse to spend picks on those colors, even for bombs unless they're splashable. If you aren't seeing that color in Pack 1, you won't be seeing it again in Pack 3. Even if you might see some strong cards in Pack 2, it's still possible the players to your left are drafting the best card of that color and passing you the second best card of that color. Just like for Pack 1, you won't know until at least Pack 5 if that color is open, and by then you've wasted too many picks if it's not open. Instead, trust your judgment from Pack 1 and limit yourself to the 3 most open colors in Pack 2. How to draft Pack 2 Principle 2. Go into Pack 2 favoring a color pair. If there's a color pair you're not avoiding that seems to be more open than the other in Pack 1, favor drafting for that color pair in Pack 2. When you're comparing 2 cards of roughly the same grade, pick the one that works best in your favored color pair. And that leads us to how to draft Pack 2 Principle 3. Switch to favoring a different color pair within your draftable colors as soon as a potential signal tells you to. A potential signal will often be 2 or more grade steps higher than the other cards you could pick. For example, early in Pack 2, I might see a C+ in my favored color pair or a B in the color pair I'm open to. You should take the B card and immediately start favoring that color pair moving forward until a new signal tells you otherwise. You want to benefit as much as possible from the player to your left passing you good cards when you know it's likely you'll at least pick up some cards in that color in Pack 3. You can't say the same of the 2 colors you weren't passed in Pack 1. Now let's take a look at Jim's draft to see how to apply the principles of how to draft Pack 2.
Let's go, draft time. Ooh, okay, it's not too bad. A little Gonti Knight Minister. Really good rare, 4 mana for a 3/4. Read this card backwards. Second ability is more important than the first ability. At worker, you control this combat damage to one of your opponents. Look at the top card of that player's library and exile it, and you may cast that card until the end of a game, as long as it's exiled and with mana of any color. And if you cast a spell you don't own, make a treasure. So, really powerful card. Arguably better than original Gonti, although they're kind of different cards. This one, if you kill it immediately, doesn't do anything, whereas other Gonti's really, really good too. So, we got Stock up here. We got End Rider Spike Spitter. Both pretty good cards, but I think it's the rare here, and it's not particularly close. So, passing Spike Spitter, Stock up, Engine Rat. A Gunner. Gunner's really good. I think Gunner's better than Spike Spitter, honestly. These ratings be damned. But Raceway is not very good, unfortunately. So,
Agreed, this is a clear Gonti.
Rob Reset, thanks so much. Count on luck. If you're mono red, this card's great. In all other scenarios, not very good. So we're looking at Spin Out. Great pick to follow up our first pick. One of the issues with a card like Spin Out or Gonti is that double black can be a little tough. You know, black is a little more of a support color than a main color in this set. And you can have in spots where you're like green-black and you want to play like, 10 forests, 7 swamps, and that's pretty awkward. But starting off with a double black card into double black card is great. No other card in this pack is really reasonable. Ride's End's very good, but black-white's a little iffy, and then like it's just a worse removal spell and Spin Out is, and there's no other card I would even consider taking here. So the Russian unit is good with the Gonti, but like I think it's overrated in general. It's just a freaking well turn. So yeah, take Spin Out, not even close.
No signals this early, Spin Out is the clear pick.
Pretty easy start to our draft here. And now things get a little interesting. So we have another good black card in our pack in Pact All Terror. One of my favorite cards in this set, but obviously kind of an artifact card. Neither of the cards we have so far are very artifacty. I suppose Gonti does make treasures, which is kind of cute. But that being said, Pact All Terror is also good at red-black, which has like a speed enabler.
I feel the need for speed.
Gallant Strike's good. Sky Ray's okay for that deck. The Dragon's actually pretty good. Just packed Altair. Yeah. No card here is worth changing colors for, and you could easily just end up being like blue-black artifacts. So, Terra's great. Terra's also a nice card to take early because they stack up so well, and the more you get, the better it is. So.
Gallant Strike is really good. Let's keep our eye on future signals white is open. Dracosaur Auxiliary is an intriguing red card, not necessarily great as it's only winning at a C- clip, but it could contribute to a story that red is open if we get more red signals. But in the meantime, Packed Altair is tied with Gallant Strike as the winningest card in the pack, and it's in our color. Let's take Packed Altair.
Take Packed Altair and get past the pack where unfortunately, the black is drying up. So we have to look for other options here. The white card, not very good. The blue card's not very good.
Still a piece of garbage.
Fun constructed card, but not very good in limited, and this is really bad common also. So the blue cards are terrible. 3 red cards, I would say the Sky Crash is pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And then Omnivore's also fine. Not seeing a lot of green cards yet, though. Green is heavily contested at this stage in the format, being clearly the best color. Take Sky Crash here. If you wanted to be like super... Yeah, I think this Wrangler is terrible, I think. So, yeah, just take Sky Crash.
And now we get a bunch of nothing. There are 3 playable red cards. I'm starting to immediately lean into red until a signal clearly asks me to change direction. However, there is a Walking Sarcophagus that we'd actively want to play in both black-red and black-white, the 2 archetypes we're most interested in at the moment. In those decks, it performs at a C- clip, and I don't really care about any of the red cards for black-red. The next step would be Sky Crash with around the same win rate as Sarcophagus, but only for black-red. Gibrick Omnivore is okay, but we haven't yet seen a reason to think green is open, and this is where knowing the metagame comes in handy. As Jim mentioned, green is being overdrafted. It's not unusual to have half your pod drafting green. I don't care how deep green is, when half my pod is drafting green, I'm taking my chances on the other colors. Don't get me wrong, if I see a Scurryfoot, Ketrodon, or Runover next pick, I'll reconsider, but nothing is directing me towards green yet, so I'm firmly in Mardu until I'm told otherwise. I'm taking the Sarcophagus.
Might or might not play it. The one thing I want to do is, double count your own luck. So one of the cool things you can do in this format is draft mono red. If red's open, and you get a count on luck, or even 2, because they go so late, this card's really, really good, but obviously super hard to cast. That's kind of cool. Late Road Rage, good removal spell. Also a Locust Spray if you want to stay black. And then Night Market Jungle Hollow. I'll take the Rage here. I think Gonti is very good in black-red, particularly if you're aggressive. So, yeah, just take the Rage and go from there. Lands are a little appealing too, but Road's pretty good.
I like Defend the Rider, but it's not a signal. Others to my right are likely taking more powerful green cards, leaving the Defend the Rider for us. Road Rage is a signal performing in the B range in most decks, and when combined with the red cards we've seen previously, it's the clear choice. I'm now leaning black-red. Locust Spray is nice to see, indicating black is at least viable to our seat. It's possible we'll need to fight for black since we haven't seen as strong of a black signal, but let's take the Road Rage.
I would say 5th pick Road Rage, a bit of a signal as well. And pick 6 rolls around. Adrenaline Jockey, which is pretty bad, honestly. It's mostly just a 3-3 for 3 that makes your opponent play a little awkwardly. Specialist here is a nice little 2-drop. This card's just totally fine. Gallant Strike and Rambler are both pretty good black-white cards. I could see speculating on Rambler here. Black-white, it's a good packed Altair. Black-white's fine, I think, if we're in this sort of space. Both these red cards are, just not very great. Yeah, Specialist is not that aggressive right now. I think the Rambler.
This is a key pick. What does this pack tell you? White's second best uncommon and second best common are both in this pack. Combine that with knowing white is being pretty much avoided in the metagame, and this should be your clearest signal yet that white is open to your seat. Now what do we do with this information? The most natural reaction is to lean white-red, since we've had reasonably strong signals that both white and red are open. But white-red is the one archetype I'm looking to avoid in the set. It's by far the worst archetype, with a win rate nearly 2% lower than the next lowest win rate. And that's a big drop when you're talking about average win rate. Instead, I think about what color I'm open to that I prefer to play with white, and that's black. I'm preferring white-black moving forward, and I'd actually take the Gallant Strike. While I'd be happy with a Rambler, I try hard to prioritize my big removal in black-white to clear the way for my start the engines creatures, and especially against the big reach creatures that can slow down my Streaking Oil Gorgers.
Whites seem pretty open too, so... Alright. Yeah, it's not a lot going on here. Some mediocre black cards. Spray is very good. I'm a Spray fan. A very good stretch, but very solid. Highlands, Ironclad, Oil Gorger, Siphon Fuel, all kind of just whatever. This also keeps it open to be white possibly too, so yeah, it's fine. Take the Locust Spray.
The best card in the pack is Marshall's Path Cruiser, but I really don't want to play that in my black-white max speed deck where I want to spend my turns more aggressively and I'm unlikely to splash. However, there is a Streaking Oil Gorger, which performs at a C+ clip in black-white. You could consider Siphon Fuel, under the same logic as taking Gallant Strike last turn. You do want removal that can kill big reach creatures. But Siphon Fuel is the worst of them, performing at a D+ clip in black-white. Locust Spray is a card I'll play because the cost of doing so is low with the cycling, but it's not really what black-white wants. I'm taking Streaking Oil Gorger.
And still feeling things out. Pick 8. We see a Gouda, the Bloodfell Caves, a Surveyor, and a Collision Course. And an Oil Gorger. So a lot of like mid-tier cards here, but like are I'd say below mid-tier. Cards you're not really super excited to play. Gouda's okay. The white cards, I mean, in theory, Collision Course should be pretty good in our deck if we are black-white. Just gonna take the land though.
I'd be happy with Collision Course, Leonin Surveyor, or a Streaking Oil Gorger here. Collision Course is a little underwhelming when you try to use it as big removal. I'd draft it looking to cut it. Leonin Surveyor I'd actually want to play, even if it's one of the least interesting ways to start our engines. That said, we're on the Streaking Oil Gorger plan, and I'll take this opportunity to lock in our second copy.
Keep it open. Our opening pack comes back with the Air Response Unit, which is, it's okay. It's not particularly exciting, but if it's like your only vehicle, it's fine. Wrangler kind of meh. Buster kind of meh. Parry's kind of meh. Taking Hull Drifter here isn't crazy. We could end up blue-black, but blue does not seem open at all. I'll take the unit.
I'm not looking to play any of these cards. I'd be tempted to take the Hull Drifter as the only playable card in this pack, but we haven't really seen any blue thus far. I'm taking Light Shield Parry as another way to get our Oil Gorgers past some reach.
Counterlock Tables, as says the Ticket Tortoise, the Shortcut, and the Launcher. I'm okay with Ticket Tortoise if we're super artifacty. Ticket Tortoise plays pretty well Pact All Terror. It crews things fine also. Just like a fine card. It's better than it looks. As long as being an artifact matters, I think. That's the important part. The rest of these cards are all pretty mediocre, so...
Risky Shortcut is being overlooked. You want it in an aggressive black-white or black-red deck where going too lower on life total with your opponent benefits you in the race to 0. It also increases speed. I'm taking Risky Shortcut.
Voyager Quick Welder's a pretty nice sign that we could be like a black-white artifact deck. We already have a number of artifacts. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm in.
I do think seeing black-white as your primary lane with a backup of black-red as soon as pick 6 would help you favor the Oil Gorger and Risky Shortcut picks, but I agree with taking Voyager Quick Welder here.
It's black-white looking like it's a possibility. I think Sarcophagus is not good, but if we need artifacts and 2-drops, it can do the job.
Lotus Guard Disciple is fine, but not directly contributing to our Start the Engines plan. Walking Sarcophagus does, and it wins at a C- clip in black-white and black-red. I'm not asking for better than that from a pick 12. Yes, this is the Sarcophagus we took pick 4. I'm counting it in the final deck. We've had the debate of double picking a card in the past, and I think most viewers understand we're drafting the cards made available to our seat, and not this specific card in this specific pack. No one around us wanted the Sarcophagus, indicating that archetype is open to our seat. We're taking it and counting it in our deck.
Need artifacts and 2-drops, it can do the job. Then we get Interference. Alright, so white does seem somewhat open. These cards are all pretty bad, but...
Spot Cycle Scouter actually wins at a C- clip in black-white. I think we'll be wanting to pair it with Engine Rats and Wreckage Wicker Folks, but it's possible it can make the cut. Unlikely, but possible. We take the Scouter.
I don't know. I don't know what I should think in there, honestly, but... Alright, so...
Now this is pod racing.
Alright. How about 2 Gonti Knight Ministers? Black-white is not great in this format, but, you know, anything's playable if it's open, I think. So, Gonti's pretty sick. Breaker's good. Pilot's fine. Rest of the pack's kind of mediocre. But, yeah, all right. Well, now with Gonti, I think a card like our air response unit goes up in value pretty high. It's an evasive vehicle that you can crew and attack immediately with. It's kind of cool. And, yeah, I mean, once you have 2 Gontis, you can kind of like really draft around it and make sure you can trigger it. So take the Gonti.
We get another Gonti. I'd love the Momentum Breaker, but not over Gonti. Let's take Gonti.
I think we're really looking for the 1/3 flyer, the black artifact creature. That card would kind of do everything we're looking to do here. But this pack is bad.
Still a piece of garbage.
Gastral Raider, not very good. Mutant Surveyor, not very exciting. We're looking for artifacts, I think. I guess we only have 1 pack to All Terror, but... this pack is a stinker. A real stinker. Yikes. Stats are so high on this card. I think this card's so mopey. Surveyor, Raider. I don't think we're gonna play whatever card we take here, so whatever.
We're currently favoring black-white, but open to black-red. Gastral Raider is a C+ in those decks. When it hits a card, it's great. Yeah, it usually misses, but even then it starts your engines and puts a reasonable creature on the board when you have max speed. Grease French Goblin is the best card in the pack that we're open to. Is it good enough to take over Gastral Raider, given we want to be in white-black? Well, it's winning at an A- clip in red-black. Usually I'd be looking for a card at least 2 grade steps up to go for the more closed route, and Grease French Goblin is 4 steps from C+ to A-. This is where the principles of how to draft Pack 2 come into play. Pack 1 allowed you to eliminate 2 colors from consideration. You've narrowed down your lane to 2 decks amongst black, red, and white. You're currently favoring black-white. You have the choice between a slightly narrower great card for black-red or a more open medium card in black-white or black-red. Take the more powerful card and immediately start favoring that new color because you might continue to get hooked up on that color in both Pack 2 and Pack 3. Let's take Grease French Goblin and start favoring red-black.
Damn. All right, 3rd pick Gearhulk. The Gearhulks do go late because they are obviously obscenely hard to cast. Pride of the Road, Collision Course, Mutant Surveyor. Pride of the Road's pretty good, but we're pretty heavy on 4s already. Just gonna take the Collision Course, just like fine in our deck.
Pride of the Road is okay, but I really like getting a critical mass to start your engines on turns 2 and 3. But we have another Grease French Goblin, which is much better, and we're favoring red-black anyways. Let's take Grease French Goblin.
We need some more shitters, some more early things to do, but... Alright, Breaker's good. It's fine.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Ooh, let's go racing today, boys!
Quick Welder. The problem with black-white and the welders is black-white doesn't draw cards like blue-white does. So, like, you kind of, like, have things cheaper and then don't really get to do anything with them. But Breaker's good here. Take the Breaker.
Momentum Breaker is exactly what we want in our max speed decks. Yes, there is a Thunderhead Gunner I'd like, but we just picked up 2 Grease French Goblins that can filter out our extra lands, and we really want to clear our path and start our engines. Let's take Momentum Breaker.
I think these red cards can probably hit the bench. Another vehicle, sure. It's fine. Solid if unexciting.
There's all kinds of cards in black-red that we'd be interested in here, but the best of them is Carrion Cruiser. Let's take that.
Carrion Cruiser, it's an artifact. Yeah, I mean, Wickerfolk Indomitable's like pretty mediocre. It's just like, do you even want to cast the 4/3 again? Probably not. So Pilot's good. Collision Course is maybe a better card than Pilot. We already have some removal spells, and I think that like a cheap 2-drop that can crew my shit is more important. So should take the Pilot here.
We see another Grease French Goblin, and we take that. This is where I'm now committed to being red-black. Pick 5 is where you can really start relying on signals, and a pick 5 Carrion Cruiser and a pick 6 Grease French Goblin is a solid indicator this is the archetype for this seat when you were seeing those colors in Pack 1. Yes, we saw more white cards in Pack 1, but we identified we were going to be either white-black or red-black from Pack 1, and we're getting too many powerful red cards in Pack 2 to continue down the white-black path. We should have a reasonable red seat for Pack 3.
Who's alone in the vehicle?
Rat's great. I'm a Rat fan. Late Ligorian, kind of annoying, but yeah, Rat's good with the Gonti. We just want cheap creatures for Gonti too, you know? So, Rat's pretty good.
This is a late, easy engine rat.
This thing cruise for what, 1? It's playable. It's not very exciting. Late Grim Bauble, which is great. We've got Pact All Terror and some artifact stuff. Our Victory is, it's okay. It's not really us though, I don't think. Sure. Ship it.
That is a late Grim Bauble. But honestly, I'd take Hour of Victory here. Aggro decks care more about clearing the way of the big creatures than small creatures. It might surprise you that Hour of Victory is the top black uncommon amongst top players in red-black. Getting a 2/2 and Demonic Tutor is great when you can reliably get to max speed early and know what to tutor up to win the game.
And then another pilot. Second pilot is a lot worse than the first pilot because, like, there's diminishing returns. But Victory's fine, but I don't know. It just doesn't really. I'd rather just have a cheap removal spell with an artifact on our deck.
I'd check what I need more, 2-drops or removal. We've picked up a lot of Grease French Goblins, it could benefit from more removal. Let's take the Siphon Fuel.
This pack tables is still. It's the cards we are in our colors. We don't really want them though. Mutant Surveyor is okay, I guess. Like, sure.
We have 2 good choices with another 2-drop in Sarcophagus and Mutant Surveyor. I wouldn't blame anyone for considering Swiftwing Assailant if they hadn't gone down the Greasewinch Goblin path and been committed to red-black, but the advantage of shifting into red early is that we could get a critical mass of good red cards. We're looking okay on turn 2 plays, and go with Mutant Surveyor, the more inherently powerful card.
Not very happy about it. So far, deck looking. Honestly, the white is not really like. We have a few white cards, but like not that many. We haven't as much red, right? Maybe there was like the white we could have gotten out of white. From this Pride of the Road, but I don't know. Gouda's like not bad in our deck. I'm gonna take the Gouda. I think going into red might be a possibility.
Here, we take another Mutant Surveyor for the same reason as before. We have enough 2-drops, and Mutant Surveyor is more powerful.
Sure. I don't think that we're playing any of these cards, so. Foul Roads is a really nice late pickup.
Love getting a Foul Roads here, and let's move on to Pack 3.
Alright. We open a Hazoret. Our white cards are. I don't know. Maybe we've just gotten out of white. Our white cards are all like. We don't have a single good white card. Just take Hazoret and be red. I think that's fine. Like Rage, Gouda, Sky Crash. Better than the cards we have already in white, so that's fine. Take Hazoret. And. Yeah. Cool.
Very happy we opened up a Hazoret, and agree with the pick here.
Definitely more emphasis on speed now because of that, but, man, this...
Free speed full throttle.
Yeah. Sucks. Really good card. Can't... I mean, I guess, like, we could, in theory, be blue-black, but that's fine. It's up 10. So Overdrive... Man. Bad pack for us. It's like, don't want any of these cards. Overdrive's fine. Get freaking Lord of the Undead here. Just a special guest, just hanging out. The rat is a zombie. How many zombies do we have? Oh, shit. I'll just take it. How many zombies do we have? We actually have 5 zombies? Oh, I guess this is a zombie too, right?
We didn't see any blue cards in Pack 1. I don't think we can go blue-black. I normally don't like Lord of the Undead, but we're already heavy black, making it easier to cast, and we already have 3 zombies as well. Let's take Lord of the Undead.
Alright. I think Lord of the Undead's, like, playable. Passing more good green-white cards, it sucks. But Breaker's pretty good. Yeah. I feel like I'd be taking, like, the second and third best card in our back, which kind of sucks, but...
Momentum Breaker is the clear pick.
It's not ideal. A black-white land, a Hunger Tyrant. Maximum Overdrive, the first copy is pretty important. Starting column is... I don't think we're splashing. I think it's, you know, a card that I like, but not very exciting for us.
Agree with Maximum Overdrive.
Another Bauble. We're like almost mono black, you know? Like, I don't think taking that blue Gearhulk would have been insane. I'm just like playing 10-7, just like playing 2 or 3 blue cards. We lose the Hazoret though, so we'll just take Bauble.
Here I agree with Grim Bauble.
Second Bauble's worse than the first, but the deck has gotten a little ugly, honestly. Our deck doesn't look particularly good. That's okay. Oh my god, man. The Sloth. Like, blue didn't seem that open, so artifacts didn't seem that open. And Surveyor's like fine.
We can take the Goblin Surveyor and probably cut it.
There's our victory, which is much more appealing now. We have the Rat though. I think the Rat is like a pretty high priority. It makes having a Rat makes the Lord of the Undead really, really good. Let's cut this Tortoise. Taking the Rat.
I like Our Victory a lot, but I think I actually agree with the Engine Rat here. Having another 1-drop that can contribute to max speed early, and also give us reach in the late game, and also be recurable by Lord of the Undead, I'm going with the Rat as well.
Another Overdrive, sure.
Yeah, Maximum Overdrive is the best card here.
Cut the Sarcophagus, like... Pact-All Terror's pretty bad in this deck, unfortunately. I mean, I think with 2 Gontis, it's like kind of fine, but it's a Specialist.
Specialist is the pick here.
Yeah. Another Overdrive, too.
Agree with another Overdrive.
Weird draft. It felt like nothing was open, you know? And black was definitely open, but...
Here I think we should pick up another risky shortcut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agree with the Pedal to the Metal.
Ours good, but I think Rat's just better. I want the early creature. This is too many Overdrives.
And a Burner Rocket, and let's see Jim build his deck, and then we'll take a look at ours.
Alright, so we gotta cut a card or 2. Yeah, I don't know. Not a great deck, but I don't really know what our inflection point was either. These are good rares, so... Alright. It's Pact-All Terror still in the deck. We have 2 Gonti that makes treasures, and like it obviously increases speed. The card's like fine, you know? A couple other random artifacts. The Rats, the Sprays. We're splashing for like... We're splashing for Hazoret, Crash, Rage, and Surveyor. I think Wrangler's like fine. Little creature light, but that just sort of is what it is. We're gonna be playing, you know, more swamps than red sources, so like trying to play these 2-drops that are only good on turn 2. I guess the Specialist is okay later too, but good is good Pact-All, but like just not great overall. We do have 2 Overdrives, I suppose, but currently on 1 vehicle. I don't hate the Wrangler. Wrangler's like fine. Is this a zombie? Oh wow. Sarcophagus, get in the deck. A colorless zombie. Now we're at 6 zombies. Cool. Alright, so this is fine. Kind of a weird deck, but overall I think okay. 2 Overdrives, fine. We can use the creature with the speed too, so 13 creatures, couple vehicles. Lord of the Undead is not a zombie. It's a zombie, I'm sorry. It's other zombie creatures. Not that it being a zombie matters for anything, but alright, so I think this is our deck. pop our lands in. We're going to play a lot of swamps, less mountains. I think 10-7 is pretty good. Yeah, all right. Probably not our finest work. We do have, like, 4 good rares, which is pretty cool. So, folks, you know what time it is.
Jim went 0-3 with his deck, but that happens to the best of us. Just before shooting this episode, Jim announced on his channel that he's been away from content due to a medical issue. That can be really hard for a content creator because no new content, no new income. I don't know the details of his issue, but we paid to support his channel with a super thanks while he recovers, and we encourage you to support him and the guests his channel will be featuring in the meantime. Now let's take a look at our deck. We are a red-black deck that's great at curving out with 1-drop, 2-drop with Start Your Engines, 3-drop or card draw with Risky Shortcut or Carrion Cruiser. The card draw is nice to draw into our big removal to clear the way, or our finishers in Gonti or Streaking Oil Gorger. We have a cool combo with Hazoret, making Mutant Surveyors unblockable and then being able to pump them to finish the job. If we struggle and get into the late game, Lord of the Undead can bring back our Engine Rats to drain to finish the game. We'll make good use of our mana with a low curve and card draw, but if we do flood out, Grease Wrench Goblins will help us rummage into action. Our Hour of Victory can tutor up whatever we need to win the game. Our deck wasn't significantly different from Jim's, but I think the early identification of being either black-white or black-red helped position us into a slightly better deck. White was looking more open than red in Pack 1, but we knew we'd be open to black-white or black-red. Even though we are favoring black-white in Pack 1, upon seeing the first signal Pack 2 Pick 2 to point us in a direction, we took it and updated the deck we were favoring. And that's how you should be drafting. Let Pack 1 tell you what 2 colors to eliminate from consideration, and let Pack 2 tell you what archetype to settle into. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and go support Jim's channel, and see you in the next one.